Hello, day 18, yoga advent calendar. We are so getting close to the finish line. So, grab your space, your yoga mat, your chair, whatever you use, props, anything. Wear comfortable clothing you can move easily in, and I will see you in a second. Hint, we're starting standing or seated if you're on a chair. Taking a soft gaze to a point on the floor in front of you, we'll do what is becoming a habit. We'll take 3 breaths, our 3 breath check-in, breathing it in. We check in with our breath. Second breath, we check in with our bodies. Third breath, check in with yourself. And then from here, maybe bring your feet in, back to hip distance apart. Open the chest, inhale, look forward or up. If you're on a chair, have your hands on your knees. As you exhale, round your back, chin draws in towards the chest, maybe tummy button draws in towards the spine. Inhale, open the chest, look forward up. Exhale, round through the back. Inhale, open up. Exhale, round. So, just showing you that you can do cat-cow flow wherever. You can do it as you're standing at a bus stop, if you're standing in line in a supermarket, if you're at the desk at work, if you're doing a presentation at work. I'd love to see that. I'd love to know if you do that. Just to get some movement into the back to make ourselves feel good. So maybe just have a little bit of a shake, a little bit of a wiggle. Lovely stuff. So, from here, if you want to stand when you're normally seated, please do so. If you're going to do that, bring your chair so the back of the chair is in front of you and you are facing the back of the chair. Both hands or one hand on the chair, your choice. Standing without a mat, without a chair, whatever, it's absolutely fine as well. You can also do this seated. So I'm going to sit down as well, just to show you how you can do it seated. As you inhale, rise up onto the tiptoes. As you exhale, bring it down, heels on the floor. Inhale, lift up onto your tiptoes. Exhale, lower down. Take the full length of the inhale to come up onto your tiptoes. Don't rush it. Exhale, come all the way down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Lovely. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, down. 2 more times. Inhale up. Exhale, down. Inhale. Exhale. Lovely. So I'm not going to be mean. We're not going to do that on each foot alternately. Instead, we're going to lift the hip up. Lift the knee up. So bend the knee and just start to make some gentle circles with the knee. So you can do the standing. I will move it to. And if you're doing it standing, you really want to think about balancing into that left leg. So push down through that left foot, making it nice and strong. Notice if your hip really clicks as you do this. Ooh. And then take those circles the other way. The way you have to really think about. So this is a balance. So if you are stood with the aid of a chair, have one hand or both hands on a chair. Notice how it's making the hip, if it's making the hip ache at all. Lovely stuff. Release out. From here, we're going to go into tree pose. So, just going to move my chair around. Tree pose. Again, keeping that the weight into the left leg. Right knee is bent, toes come out to the side, knee comes out to the side. Your right toes are on the mat, heel is above the ankle. Staying here if this is enough for you. Have your hands on the chair, on a piece of wall, whether you have a chair in front of you or not. If you are seated on the chair, do pretty much the same. So come to the edge of your seat, take the knee out to the side. If you want to go a little bit further, Bring that right foot onto the calf. I'll just turn around so you can see what I'm doing. So you might be here. You might have both hands on the chair. You might have no hands on a chair. If your hips are feeling good and your balance is feeling good, take your right foot. You can try and get your right foot up into the thigh. I'm not going to today because I've got a bit of a gammy foot. So play around where you are. One hand on a chair, no hands on a chair. When you feel your balance, find your drishti, a non-moving focus point. Hands come to prayer position at heart center, and then ease your hands above your head. Elbows wide, shoulder blades down the back, tree pose. Breathe. Come in and out as many times as you like. It might sound corny, but many trees don't stay still. So if you wobble, it really doesn't matter. Your challenge, should you wish to accept it, is to bring your hands down to your heart center, release your hands out. Without stepping that right foot on the floor, bring it out in front of you. So the knee is in line with the hip, toes are flexed as if you are pushing onto something beneath you. You can do this if you are seated, so just lift that knee up, push down. If you fancy it, you can turn your chair around and place your foot on the seat of the chair, your choice. If you're in front of the chair, hands on the chair, move one hand and then the other. If you are not with a chair and you feel good, a left hand comes to right knee, right hand comes behind. Inhale, lengthen up, and exhale, take the twist around. Take your gaze to that right hand if you can. It really doesn't matter if you don't. And I'll wobble as I move my head. Move your head very slowly. And then release out. That was one-legged mountain pose. Walk it off. Lovely stuff. So we're going to do the same on the other side, and I'm going to demo the other side on a chair. So finding your balance, taking your weight into your right leg, pushing down through that right foot. Lift the left knee up, take it in some circles. So if you're on a chair, even if you're not on a chair, if you want to kind of support the leg as you take that in circles, please do so. And then take those circles the other way. Notice how your hip feels. How is it feeling today? Seriously, tell me if you can hear Daisy snoring, please. Find some stillness and then take that foot down. So moving into tree and then one-legged mountain pose once more. Take the weight back into that right leg. So really push down through that right foot. Bend the left knee, toes are on the mat, knee out to the side. So you can bring your toes in above the ankle. Staying here if this is enough for you. Find your balance, find your non-moving focus point. Both hands on the back of the chair or no hands, play around with one hand and then the other. If it feels good, you can take the foot onto the calf. Awesome, again, play around with your hand position. If your hips are feeling good, your balance is feeling good, you can take that left foot up into the thigh. So I'm going to show you here on a chair. I wouldn't necessarily do it on a chair, but if that feels good for you, why not? Bring your hands to prayer position at heart center once you find your balance. Take your arms overhead, hands stay together, elbows out, shoulder blades down the back. Tree pose, Rukasana. Breathe. Coming in and out of tree as many times as you need. You fall, the mat's got you. It will support you to come back into it again. And your challenge, bringing the hands down to prayer position and then releasing the hands out, is to move from tree into one-legged mountain pose without placing that left foot on the floor. So bring the left knee round to the front, flex the toes so they're pointing back up towards the knee as if you're pushing down on something. Both hands on the chair, no hands on the chair, one hand on a chair, your choice. From here, at least having your right hand on the chair in front of you, left hand comes out behind. Inhale, lengthen up through the spine. Exhale, take your gaze over towards the left hand. Your right hand is on the left knee if it's not on a chair. Breathe. Notice how much you're wobbling. Your gaze really doesn't have to be on the left hand. It can be anywhere. Release yourselves out. Shake it off. Come back to some form of centering. Excellent. So if you are stood behind a chair, if you want to sit down, come and sit down. If you want to stay standing, just move yourselves a little bit away from the back of the chair. We're going to start doing 3 forward folds, and I don't want you to hit your head. Bring your hands to prayer position at heart center. Find your balance between the 2 feet, so weight evenly distributed between your 2 feet. As you inhale, raise the arms overhead, gazing upwards if that's good. And exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips, knees bent. If you're on a chair, hands come to your knees. Inhale, come up halfway, so halfway lift, hands come to your shins, to your thighs, shoulder blades down the back. As you exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward, push through the feet, lift yourselves up to seated or standing, arms overhead. Exhale, hands down. 2 more times. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, fold, hinging at the hips, knees bent. Inhale, halfway lift, so your hands come to your shins or to the thighs, shoulder blades down the back. Exhale, fold. Push through the feet, lift yourselves up to standing or seated, arms overhead as you inhale. Exhale, hands down to prayer position. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, fold, hinging at the hips, knees bent. Open up through the chest, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward, push through the feet, lift yourselves up to seated or standing, arms overhead if you're not too dizzy. And exhale, hands come to prayer position at heart center. Lovely stuff. Well done. Let's move from here into our child's pose. So if you're mat based, bring your knees down to the mat, feet together, knees mat distance apart, hips come to your heels, chest comes down towards the mat, forehead on the mat or on fist or on hands. Your arms can be out in front of you or down by your side. Your choice. Anybody who's seated, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. Allow the hands just to rest out either side. Breathe. Lovely. Walk your hands in towards your knees. If you are on the mat, come to kneeling. Anybody on a chair, lift yourselves up to seated. So we're going to finish with 3 what I think are called good mornings. I don't know if they actually are, but 3 little flows. So we start kneeling if you're on a mat, or start seated if we're on a chair. Bring hands to prayer position at heart center. As you inhale, come to a high kneeling position, so lift the hips up. And as you exhale, bring the hips down to the heels into a low kneeling position. And if you're on the chair, hands just come to your heart center. Inhale, from kneeling, we take our hands forward, coming into tabletop and cat pose. So drop the stomach, look forward or up. Same if you're in a chair, open the chest. As you exhale, lower all the way to the floor or round through the back, folding forward. Hands are underneath our shoulders. We inhale, open the chest, little cobra, baby cobra. And as you exhale, push yourselves into child's pose if you're on a mat. And if you're on a seat, let the background hands come down to your either side of the feet. So child's pose, feet together, hips on the heels, yes. From here, inhale, lift yourselves up into a high kneeling position. So hips are high. If you're on a chair, arms come overhead, you are neutrally seated. And exhale, hips to heels, low kneeling position. Hands down to prayer position, heart center. I hope that made sense. We'll do 2 more. Inhale, lift yourselves up into a high kneeling position. Arms overhead if you're seated as well. Exhale, hands come down to your heart center. Hips to heels if you're on the mat. Inhale, come into your cat pose, so bring the hands forward into a tabletop if you're on the mat. If you're on a chair, open the chest, look forward or up. Exhale, round through the back if you're on a chair. If you're on the mat, lower all the way to the floor. Inhale, baby cobra, so we open the chest, shoulder blades down the back. Exhale, take it back into child's pose if you're on the mat. And if you're on a chair, hands come down to either side of the feet. Inhale, lift up to high kneeling, lift up to neutral seated position, arms overhead. Exhale, hands down to prayer position at heart center. If you're not getting this on the mat, don't worry, we'll do it tomorrow when we start again. Basically, kind of follow what we're doing on a chair, but kneeling. Inhale, raise the arms overhead, come to high kneeling position. Exhale, hands come down to prayer position at heart center. Inhale, we come to cat pose, so hands on the mat, drop the stomach, look forward or up. Exhale, lower all the way to the mat, and if you're on a chair, fold forward. Inhale, baby cobra, so shoulder blades down the back, we look forward. Exhale, push back into child's pose, so hips on heels, chest to the mat, forehead to the mat. Likewise, if you're on a chair, we fold forward, hands come down either side of the feet. From here, we inhale, coming up into high kneeling position or neutral seated position, arms overhead. And exhale, hands down for prayer position. Well done for following that. They are nice little things without me talking really fast throughout them. We'll take 3 breaths to close our practice, taking a soft gaze, inhaling and exhaling. Inhale, exhale. 3rd breath in and out. Bring the hands, thumbs to your 3rd eye, fold forward, thanking yourselves for everything you've achieved today. And I thank you for joining me. I will see you tomorrow for day 19.